A local high school prohibits cell phones on school premises. A group of parents petition the school board arguing that cell phones will enhance safety and assure the school board that students will not use their cell phones for social purposes during school hours. A pilot test is conducted with seniors. They're allowed to bring their cell phones if they participate in a study to determine whether cell phone use increases during school hours. Information about cell phone usage using monthly minutes is obtained the month prior to the implementation of this pilot study and a month after the test is in place. Assuming a level of significance of 0.05, what conclusions could be drawn based on the data in Table 4? So here we have a paired test. We have students who we're going to see their cell phone usage before the test and then after the test. So we would be using a t-test and we would be using the paired t-test. So our null hypothesis is there is no difference between the usage before and after the pilot test. That's our null hypothesis. There is no difference in cell phone usage before the test and after the test. So we go to our table 4 to analyze the data now, and we'll see here that we have several students A, B, C, D, E, and we see their before usage and after usage. So now we're ready to compare the data, and we're going to do that using the t-test. Since this data is paired, we're going to use the paired t-test. So we go up to data, data analysis, and find t-test paired to sample for means. Click OK. So we're brought to the box where we input our variable range for the data for variable 1, which is the after the test. So we're going to go over to the first item in our data set, click, hold, and drag down over the data for our first variable. Then we're asked for our second variable range, so we put our cursor on the first data item, click, hold, and drag down over the data to highlight that data. So now we have the variable ranges put in. We always assume a hypothesized mean difference of 0. We're always going to use the alpha level of 0.05, and we're going to put our output in a new worksheet. So I click OK, and I'm taken to the new worksheet where I can then look at the data. And the first thing that we'll notice is when we look at the means, we'll see that there's not a lot of difference there between the means. But to determine if there is a significant difference, we need to come down to the calculated t-statistic. So we look at that calculated t-statistic, and we're going to compare that to our critical region for a two-tailed exam. To determine whether we have any significant difference between the means, we then compare the calculated t-statistic with the critical region. The calculated t is not greater than the critical value, therefore we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Again, since the calculated t-statistic is not greater than the critical value, we fail to reject the null hypothesis, and we conclude that there is no difference between cell phone usage before or after the implementation of the pilot test.